We are live.
Hey everyone, we are live for another edition of Emerge Detour Essentials Live. Hi guys,
Hi.
Hi, Nan.
how are we feeling today?
Better than yesterday, that's for sure.
Yeah. It's a real
But
time in our lives, and we read historical accounts of things that happened in the past. We're living it now, minute by minute, online, on television, and everything that we see and do. And it's a reminder for our generation of how inactive we have been. And now is actually a time when we have a voice and we have to determine how we will use our voice and if we will actually use our voice, because I think things have reached to a boiling point. And it's easy for us, you go through, you have your education, you have your work and things that you forget about some of the stark realities, and we're living them now. This is some real time. This is real time. And some of us at the beginning of the year was wondering, what's my purpose? What is some of the things that I need to be focused on? And this is part of what we have to be focused on, not just as Black people, but as people, as it affects every last one of us.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, it has been a very, and as you would have seen, I posted about it today. It's been a very emotionally and mentally draining period. It's not something you can escape, nor do we want to escape it. It is the reality of what is happening across our world. It's something that has been happening for generations, and now it has just actually come to a boiling point here in this generation where we've had enough. I hear a lot of people talking about, what's happening in Jamaica and what's happening in America. And at the end of the day, it's Black lives, no matter where you are in the world. And that's why we see people rioting as far as New Zealand, in Paris, all over the world. I see that.
Yeah.
And in Jamaica, where I've gotten at least 4 different messages today about protests that will be happening on Saturday at different locations. So it is a Black lives situation and not a America versus Jamaica situation here. So we have to just put that into context. I know we normally start with our introduction, but this was such a pressing issue that we clearly just got right into what has happened. So Catherine, I don't know if you want to start with your intro and then we'll go back to our program.
Yeah, so I am Kathy Goodall and I am one of the founders of Emerge. I am a leadership and growth coach. And yeah, that's it for me today.
And she's a connector of dots and people and brands.
Thanks.
My name is Naomi Garrick. I am also known as the PR chick, and I'm a personal branding coach and PR consultant, and also one of the Emerge trio. And I help individuals to get clarity on who they are, understand their unique value, and how to communicate that to their ideal audience wherever they are. Rush.
My turn. My name is.
Are we ever gonna get this right? Are we ever gonna get this right?
My name is Rochelle Cameron. I'm a stimulating menu of talents, and I use those talents to share with others in various roles. I'm a people builder. I'm an attorney at law, as well as an international speaker, where I go by the name Adrenaline Rush. I'm known as a fixer. I've been called duct tape. You've got a problem, I'll try and help you fix it.
Rochelle,
Read an article.
time that I've heard you
She wanted to be a pageant girl, that's why she rehearsed it so well. She wanted to be a pageant girl.
and that's why she's always mocking me when I do my
she
intro.
aged out, exactly. She aged out of pageant, so she uses our platform to.
No, I didn't age out of pageant, darling. I'm still a pageant girl. But guys, one of the things that I thought about for this time, we are in a very unique situation. In the time of civil riots back in the 60s and Martin Luther King's time, As Black people, we were not in the financial position or the education position or the leadership positions that we are currently in. We still have a ways to go, but we're at a different place now. We're at a place that Martin Luther King would have expected us to be doing something. So I was thinking, I just happened to have been looking back through Brené Brown's book, because the whole concept of coming off of the sidelines and getting into the arena, it is a true arena time. So it's not a comfortable time anymore. It's not a time that you can just simply sit on a glass of wine on your patio and speak of the ills of the world, because these are issues that affect all of us. And we are seeing even our children, when I'm talking to people with children who are 6, 7, who are watching on TV and seeing these images online, and they're like, where are we living? And this is a reality that we've shrouded over for years. And it is really now that our generation gets an opportunity, a very, very critical opportunity, that we can decide to sit on the sidelines and watch, or get in the arena and do something, because there's something that each of us can actually do.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I mean, even if it's just the point of educating yourself if you're not aware, right? So you
Exactly.
can be part of the conversation and you can contribute. The great thing is that we all have these amazing social media platforms, right? That allows us to connect with the rest of the world in a very real way in real time.
Mhm.
Now is a great time to actually start using it in a meaningful way. And I say that not to say to feel, I don't want people to feel forced to share either. Because it is a very,
It's a
it,
personal choice.
it's a lot, and it's a personal choice, right?
You have to
Some
own it.
people are in, like, I have colleagues and friends in the States, and they're actually physically protesting. I have friends that are online and they're doing their protesting. There are people that are voting. There are people that are donating to the different causes. There are people that are giving their signatures to different things happening, not just in America, but even here, right here in Jamaica. And so I think it's just for people to figure out what they are comfortable with and how best to show up in their spaces.
Yeah.
But it does take a lot. I've been seeing a lot of people speaking to mental health right now, right? We were already dealing with a global pandemic,
Yeah.
no social interaction. And now we've just jumped into something else that's just even, this directly affects everybody. Even for me to have to be having these conversations, as you said, Rochelle, with my
Exactly.
14-year-old, who we've never had to have these kind of conversations before. And I have to finding all the videos that can explain it better to him than I can, right? To
Yeah.
go into the history. And so it's an interesting time, for
Yeah.
sure.
One of the funny things too about this time, just look at 2020. 2020 is the connector year. So COVID-19, there was a time that we watched it happening elsewhere, and we're like,
Ebola.
you
Yeah.
guys, I hope you're wearing your masks. And
Yeah.
then every single one of us is affected. And not even on the heels
Yes.
of COVID, right during COVID, this incident, which is almost a culmination of boiling up of incidents across the world, is not, when you're looking, it's not pockets of riots, it's not pockets of protests, it's not pockets of angst and anger. It is across the world.
Yeah.
So we have to say to ourselves, what is this time really? It really is such a reflection time and an awareness time. Today I was doing my hair. Yes, I do my hair. And I was under the dryer watching Martin Luther King speeches. And let me tell you guys,
Yeah.
so when he was giving those speeches, the people who needed to hear couldn't hear because they never had no internet. Now we can show our children what he was talking about. And I watched what was his very last speech, and he didn't know because he was assassinated that night. And you remember that speech about I've seen the mountaintop, the glory of the Lord that's going to manifest. And this is us at a mountaintop that we have to decide if we're rolling back to the other side
Yeah.
or we're going to the promised land.
Yeah, but and I think it's also important that all of
Yeah.
us take the time to inform ourselves and to stop taking what people say at face value.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when, so I remember when Bill Clinton was like the savior that came to save all the black people, right? And the reality is that he implemented crime policies that impacted black people in a way that we can't come back from, right? People lost their entire life because they were locked up behind bars because of policies that he implemented. And then he's going to come back 4 years later when it's time for re-election to say, oops, my bad, I'm sorry. So we can't take things at face value, the things that they're telling us. We need to look at what the policies are that they're implementing. We talk about having a voice and about voting. We need to actually pay attention to policy. We need to actually pay attention to the bills that are being put forth. We can't take for granted that people are making decisions on our behalf. And the same is true for Jamaica.
Well, even more so for Jamaica, because we have a way where we don't read things. And in the
Right.
same way that because I always say we buy out other people's politics, we need to buy out our own. So we can't
and
just sit on our veranda about our politics either and say that voting is a thing that our kind don't do. I'm like, if you don't vote, you don't talk to me, don't tell me nothing that is going on. Drive through the pothole there. Vote.
And we take for granted that things exist that don't because we don't pay attention. I mean, for Jamaica in 2020 to not have a sexual harassment policy is beyond my comprehension, right? And there's been a bill tabled from last year, 2019, that we still can't get past today because it's not a priority. And that is just one example, right? We need to start to pay attention to what's going on around us. We have to be active participants in the decisions that are being made for us.
And not just when it lands at our door.
And this means voting at every stage, from in Jamaica, who is our member of parliament, who are the people in our justice system. For the people that are in the states, you need to vote at every level, county level, city level, judiciary level. Judiciary is critically important. Senate, all of these people actually impact our lives. And for those of us that are US citizens that live in other places, we need to be active in going out and voting. You think that I am not going to fly back to Miami to go and vote in November? No, I have to.
Well, I'm not flying anywhere. I'm just driving right up the road to put that purple on my finger to show. And I don't play. I believe that as you turn the age of 18, my grandmother who lives overseas, she can't do it anymore, but she would fly home for every election because she says, you guys don't know that there was a time that women could not vote. She's like, you think black people could have just did vote before, and then you get this in your lap and you talk about that you're not voting? No, you turn 18 years old, you are registered to vote, and you utilize that right that our forefathers have fought for. So we now have to ask ourselves, what are we going to fight for, and what mark are we going to leave? Or are we going to come and see this place and leave it the same way that we find it?
Yeah. It's a lot, guys. It's a lot to process. It's a lot to think about. As you know, we have some really awesome guests backstage.
Yeah.
Catherine, are you make sure they're there? Okay, great.
Yeah,
So we have some
yeah.
awesome guests backstage. They are a part of the Emerge family. And sorry, we wouldn't have been our authentic selves if we didn't start off by talking about what is actually really happening across the world right now. However, we were really excited because every week we brainstorm and we're trying to decide who do we want to have on the show, who do we think would be interesting for our audience, and of course, Tami and Wayne definitely were top of the list. They've been doing some amazing things online over the last, I would say, since this year or late last year, when Tami really started showing up in all of her spaces with her podcast, with her Tami Tackles Everything podcast, with just showing up on her social media platform in a very vulnerable way, which she will speak to. And now we get to actually meet the Mitchell family through that whole process, which is really exciting. I know we all have our favorites. But before we bring them on, I will just do a quick introduction.
Before you introduce, we have a lot of our emergers who are here with us every week. And I just want to say shout out to them and give us a wave. Give us a wave. We see you, Kemoy. We see you, Wida. We see you, MG. We see you,
Julie.
all. Anya, we see you. And guys, it is so important for us that you join us. I mean, we love having you. And today we're just looking forward to an exciting show with you. So stick with us. Sorry,
Yes.
Nai, we have to big up
No,
her.
no, that's totally fine. So Tami, if you go on her social media platform, she describes herself as wifey, mommy, and dreamer. But she's also a radio host with her radio program On the Edge. She is now I can say officially a YouTuber, vlogger. She's a podcaster, and Tammy is just such an amazing spirit. Like I just love to connect with her. We will plan to meet for maybe a couple of minutes, and it will turn to a couple of hours. Just because her energy is just so bright, and she's just always just so amazing to speak to. And then we have Wayne joining, and Wayne didn't really have much on his profile online, but like Catherine, I've known Wayne for many years, and he's a father, he's a husband, he's the twin of Atlas. Atlas is my
The queen
favorite,
of
by
all
the
of them.
way. He's a musician, and Wayne is such a spiritual guy, right? And you will probably learn more about that through Meet the Mitchells, MTM. And even when we speak with him today. So, guys, let's bring on Tami and
True,
Wayne.
true. You remember that night? Haven't heard that in a while. True, true, true.
Hi.
What's up?
Merch.
Yo, that thing here, it's a real thing. Don't get it twisted.
I love it. I love
Hi,
it.
guys.
We have merch too.
Yeah, we have merch too.
And by the way, Naomi, you left off chef off of my resume.
We haven't qualified that yet. We haven't qualified that yet.
I've been seeing those videos, so I'm not so sure.
Yeah, we
That's
haven't
an egg
qualified
trial.
that yet.
I think Tammy is definitely the chef here.
Definitely.
I'm gonna try her deconstructed fried rice for sure.
Right.
Cute though. Cute. Women just good looking. Some people just look clean. They just look clean.
Yeah, man.
Are any of you guys like secretly hoping that Atlas is gonna like just pop through the room in a minute and wait and then go?
Well, half of your wish came through. It's not Atlas, it's Jackson. Jack. I tried to bribe them to stay in the room. Say hi. Hi. Go back in the room. Remember, treats if you stay in there quietly.
Is that your plan?
Atlas is gonna follow you. Please
Wow,
help
wow.
us out. Help us out. Thank you.
Help
Yeah.
the parents out.
You got it.
See, people are saying Wayne can cook egg, them are definitive. And fry bacon. See, people are paying
That's it.
attention.
It's all right. I have my ingredients ready for my stew chicken, so get ready.
Boy, take
not ready.
time.
Okay,
I'm not.
Tammy, make
Wow.
sure you save us a plate so that we can talk about it next week.
That's right.
Mhm.
I know we're
Just
eating.
like Naomi sent some pastry the other
Oh
day.
my goodness, the cinnamon rolls.
Catherine, have you ever seen
oh,
somebody
really?
send? Hold on. Have you ever seen somebody send pastries that them eat out half of it?
First of all, Wait, let me explain something here, right? Let's
Wow.
be very clear. Tammy and I were having a meeting.
Yeah.
I had some cinnamon rolls and I offered Tammy a cinnamon roll. When she was leaving, I said, you know what, Tammy? Send one for Wayne, right? And send some cookies for the boys. That's what I said. So I actually didn't bake them for you, Wayne.
Thank
Ooh.
I'm not
So I didn't left some for you, right? It was
Rashi,
a surprise part.
But
what he
remember,
was
the reason why
really trying to say was
long
that he,
explanation. The reason for this long explanation is because Cathy and me is like, oh, wanna get cinnamon roll though. It's very nice. That
yes,
is so
yes.
nice. It's very good. Because the whole of last week Friday we were there looking our face and we don't get no cinnamon roll.
She
But
baked
it's all
3
right.
trays, so I don't know where they went. 3 trays.
Absolutely, me Rochelle. Me we get
Rashi, Tommy said there were
Tammy.
three. trays of cinnamon
One,
rolls.
one for me,
Oh.
one for Ajani, one for Naomi.
Okay. Thank you for that information, Tammy.
Guys,
It's okay.
I'm
We
saying
understand.
literally as they come out of the oven.
Are you still talking?
So good.
I'm not also.
Are you
It was
still
so
talking?
good.
Okay.
So good.
Naomi,
Yeah.
you see how she throw you under the bus? That's what
Like,
she does me
she-
every week.
Straight.
She does me
Like,
that every week,
Wayne,
Like 3
week
trays.
to week.
3 trays.
Wayne, Gillian said you're a horticulturist too. It's true. I missed that.
Oh wow.
That's me.
He
You
had
see,
me
Naomi, you drop off
Googling
half of the man
horticulturist.
resume.
Listen, I'm a horticulturist.
well, I saw, and you're obviously a homemaker now because I saw you with your tool belt and toolkit today.
Oh, you got it?
No.
I don't get the
Hold
tool
on,
belted.
wait.
There was like
Listen.
a vest
Got-
and
no,
everything.
no,
I
no,
saw a vest.
He wore,
Guys.
and I'm not sure why, but Wayne thought that before buying the tools, it was important to buy a vest and and some, I don't know what that thing is that goes over it. I was like, how about some screwdrivers, Wayne? Like, that's how you build a toolkit. No, he was like, I need to dress the part, and he came out to garden in the vest.
No, I'm not that way. I
The man
need
said,
the outfit. I need the
yeah,
outfit.
he said he was going to get his tool belt and everything so that, you know.
But that's Rochelle. Rochelle just bought a pair of Crocs today to garden. That's what she said.
No, it's all right. I go in. Where them say me for go next? Forget the
The
belt.
man in the road supervisor.
Man in Zero Super Valley. I'm going to get a water boot and I'm going to get the waka glasses because I'm going to weed whack too.
Wow.
I'm going
Guys,
to weed whack
can
too.
you ask us like a real question because
No.
you know-
It's real.
We have structure, you know, we actually
Yeah,
like
we have a produced show and you have totally taken us off track. Wayne.
You have to watch out for this guy. Trust me. Don't be this guy today.
okay, Kathy, let's try and get back into
Let's get back on track.
script.
focus.
All right.
But guys, we're so happy to have you both. We really, really are.
We're happy to be here.
Oh, so okay, so let's get back into serious mode now.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So earlier you heard us talking about, you know, what's been going on in the world, and so we just kind of wanted to get your take. I mean, I know that this is especially close to Wayne because Gio is away, and I just wanted to understand, you know, how you guys feel about what's been going on and how you've been impacted by it.
Well, first, I mean, since you said Gio, I was looking on his Instagram, or it came up in my feed. He put his black square representing the Blackout Tuesday, and I was just like, wait a minute, like Gio is representing the Black Lives Matter movement, and I have not really had the chance to sit down and go through with him the whole impact of the movement, what is going on, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong, from time to time we do speak about these issues and racism and classism, colorism, all of these things, but I haven't really had the chance to really official. I mean, because this came up so suddenly, you know, even though it's something that keeps on coming back around. But I'm getting to realize now that, you know, it's probably better if we talk about these things from early as opposed to wait until too late. And then they're faced with racism head on and don't know what to do with themselves because they never know that people judge people because of them skin color and tone, you know. So we Tami and myself were having the talk the other day about when is the right time to introduce these, the fact that it's a real thing in the world.
And it's amazing too, because, you know, we don't parent Gio alone, and he has his mom who's with him as well in that space and who's very familiar with the climate and knows what it is. She spent quite a few years there. And so we also have to trust that, you know, and we do trust that she is also handling it beautifully and explaining, you know, to Gio what is happening in real time. And so, you know, back to the conversation about us not having those conversations sooner, we have to have other conversations here. Like, I see videos where, you know, people are explaining to their children what to do when to be stopped by police. That's not a conversation we've necessarily had to have in Jamaica about that. We have to talk about other things where that's concerned. But that's a real life conversation that has to happen in the States. And so Gio will not be exempt from that conversation. You know, it's just that that was not something that we had to do while he lived here, you know. But now that he's in that space, of course, you know, we as the parental team have to be like, okay, so how are we rallying around this? You know, because it's new to him too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you do think that we need to be highlighting and focused on expressing to our kids, and also just highlighting in general some of the issues that we face on a daily basis here?
For me, I think that it's really, you know, I've been saying recently that my authority is in my home, and it starts in our home. And I think one of the main things that we need to be focused on is raising compassionate people. You know, it's very easy for our children to be in this shell where they don't really know what's going on in the world, and they operate how they operate within our home. And that's really a beautiful thing. Sorry, Atlas in the room. I'm coming right now. Okay, please don't make me go on bad on live. Just um, but I'm losing Atlas. I'm coming right there. 1 second, honey. 1 second.
I bet the comments they must say Team Atlas, Team Atlas.
Soon come. I'm
Listen,
coming. I'm coming.
the two biggest cheerleaders are on here. Naomi and Rochelle only talk about Atlas, okay? I'm like, you know.
Hey, you know, you have your point?
Kind of.
No, what I was saying is what I like with what we do in our house is that we tackle certain issues that happen in Jamaica in our house. Like you just said, wow, Atlas is about to pee.
All right.
Emergency. Yeah, we deal with certain issues just by being ourselves. Like colorism is a big issue in Jamaica.
Yeah.
We deal with that just based on being us who we are.
Yeah.
Brown skin Jamaican, dark skin Jamaican, live in love and unity, have kids who share traits from both sides, and we don't see it as a biracial, we don't see it as our house. This is our family, you know? And that's a good thing about what we are exposing now, that we tackle issues unintentionally. You know what I mean? And
Right.
we just do it because this is just our life, it's our world. How we treat Momo, and it's something natural to us, but I see it in the comments that people, every 1 in every 10 comments is somebody saying, yo, I just love how them deal with Momo. Like, she's a real
Yeah.
person. Like, I've seen so many people who deal with them staff terrible and discriminate, and, you know, we don't do that. You know what I mean? So we kind of,
Yeah, and we weren't raised like that either. So this is what I'm saying, you know, it comes back to what you're doing in your home and how you're the biggest example in your home. We spoke about that,
Yeah.
that, you know, racism is something that is taught. And sometimes, as Wayne said, unintentionally, because that's just how you're living your
Culture,
life. So
yeah.
it just gets passed
Yeah.
down from generation to generation, and it has to break somewhere. So if you're unaware that what you're thinking is just not right, or it's out of this, you don't know, you know. So I grew up in a home,
Yeah.
for example, where our nanny was a part of our family. You know, if I talk about Miss Annette too long, I cry, because that's a woman who teach me how to wash clothes, teach me how to cook, teach me how to iron. You get what I'm saying? And was and was a part of our family. And so it is only normal to me that is what we do. So even when I see the comments, I'm like, what is going on in Jamaica? Like, is this not
Right.
happening?
Why is it not normal?
Yeah,
Why is
coming
it not every household?
Yeah.
Sorry, you broke up. I didn't hear.
She said, why isn't it like
Well,
this in every
why? Right, because you're probably just assuming that this is normal. This is what people do,
Because
but
that's
clearly
what we grew
it's
up
not.
seeing, exactly, and it's the same
Right.
thing. That's how it works, and so we have to know what are our children seeing, and so it's also about nipping something in the bud very early as well. I mean, Atlas has already come to me. Atlas is 3 years old. In all his innocence, has come to me and said, "Mom, why are we different?" And pointing at our skin, and you know, I'm now holding my breath, like, all right, here we go. You know, like, here comes a conversation at 3 years old about why we're different. And then
Yeah.
learning to celebrate our difference and explain it to him. And it's very simple for children. Once you explain to them that why everybody is different and how that is really a good thing, you know, and making it an easy, comfortable conversation, because half the time it's just being able to have the conversation that's important for our children. You know, I grew up in Jamaica, and it was so much about, so I fit the profile for the uptown girl, right? And I'm supposed to have all the money and the nice car, the nice house. And what happened to me was that, because this is a part that a lot of people don't talk about either, is that I fit the profile, but I didn't have the house, didn't have the car. So I didn't want anybody to figure that out. Because when they did, they were like, oh, well, you can't be in our circle because you don't fit the bill. And there's that too, that is just a total crock, you know, like that's crazy. Then I moved to England as Miss Chin. I moved to England at 14 years old into a predominantly white town, where in school it was me, Tessie, and two other black children, you know, and there's no diversity, and feel the other side of it where it's just what? So I think about it and I said to myself, when I look at what's happening now and what's been happening for years, I am always in shock that we're in 2020 and this is happening. But I can see that if something doesn't change, we are going to be talking about this 20 years from now. You know what I mean? And we have an opportunity in our homes with our children to see the dream come true. And I really am passionate about how we can change the world with our children. And that's why mothers are just so important, you know, and what we're teaching our children is so important. And that goes for everything that we're teaching them, you know. And so I just feel like the best thing we can do is be the example, and the best thing we can do too is call people out. Call people out the minute you see them. Call your own kids out too. They hang out with other people. They might say something that you know is like totally wrong and off key. Call them out, you know, and let them feel confident to call another out too, and say no, that don't fly. That's not gonna work.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah,
It definitely starts in the home. And it's so crazy because I said it to somebody today. You know, when I decided to move back to Jamaica, it's because for me, Jamaica was that happy place where I didn't have to deal with the BS in America. I was raised in a house that was fully, I mean, like your house, my house is the most blended. So my family is the most blended, and we were taught to love and respect everybody. You know, May, who is my helper that grew me, is like my grandmother. And I, to this day, I talk to her at least every month, at least, right? She's like 80 something now. And she's like my grandmother. So we talked about the influence that you have over your family and the control that you have over your house. But as entertainers, you also have a voice. And how do you use that voice? You know, Wayne and I talked a little bit earlier today, and I said, you know, don't ever quiet your voice, because there's so much power that comes out of the things that you do. So as entertainers, how do you use that voice to incite that same consciousness in the people that listen to you?
Yeah.
By doing things like this too. So I don't write songs anymore, but I do have a space where we get to show up and have the real life conversations. I will say this on behalf of entertainers, I think, is that I think a lot of entertainers, we're under so much scrutiny about what you say, what you don't say, did you say it right, that it can almost pull you into silence. And I think that people are so ready to jump on anything you say or do that you're afraid sometimes to speak. And we have to be so careful to not be silenced.
It's funny you say that, because I had this song that I wrote like a couple of years ago, and the reason why I never really aggressively like say, yo, let me put out this song is because I just thought, no, this is going to fall on deaf ears. He was talking about racism and classism and colorism and all of these isms. And I thought to myself, let me post it on Instagram, and then I hold back and I say, yo, I wonder if people are going to judge me and say, if I feel like him can just talk about this on Ray and love America, I feel an issue that and Ray. But then it was so much more important for me to do it, because this wasn't done because of George Floyd. It was done because I see these issues as profound issues that need to be dealt with. And me being an entertainer, I write songs. I try my best to put these topics and concepts into songs, you know, and make it sound good and make people can digest them. And when I post it, I just kind of like, it may just close my eye and post it. I'm gonna post it, I see people, I say, yo, this is deep, yo, tears, goosebumps, yo, dog, this really hit home, and a serious message in that song, and you know, so I just felt to myself, boy, you know, look at that. I was kind of reluctant to post it because people might judge me and wonder if it a go work, if people are gonna say, oh, yeah, that's an opportunist now because you see this movement.
Right.
But this song is like 5 years old in my writing book, you know.
Yeah, this issue is like 400 years
And
old.
this issue is 400 years old.
I think we have to be careful that we don't get silenced because we might not see the right thing, or one person might think this. And I think that also generally people need to be in a state of not like, oh, for example, yesterday, you know, it was Blackout Tuesday, and you know, there were so many people going through whoever had used like the wrong hashtag. And I just saw so many people using this as an opportunity to just be like, brr, 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 brr. And I was like, yo, where everybody is trying to learn, everybody's trying to figure it out, everybody's trying to gather more information. That's what this was about too, to be more educated on this. And when you get attacked, you immediately just want to go, it's okay, I'll work in silence over here, I'll do what I can do over here because I don't want to go through this right now with that. And this is bigger than that. This is bigger than me feeling like, oh, I wonder what people are going to think about what I have to say. You know what I mean? And I think there has to be.
No, I was going to say, you know what, I think for that, it goes back to each person's mission. You know, what is it goes back to your core values as an individual, right? Everybody's experiencing what is happening in the world in a very different way.
Absolutely.
Based on the experiences that they may have had, whether in the US, whether in Jamaica, in their home, in their family. And we have to respect that as well.
But it's very easy to feel like it's compared to your situation, I can't speak on, and so I don't want to share because it pales in comparison. I don't want to say, and I can't say that, you know, so we have to be so careful to also be understanding of each other. And like you said, really make room for everybody to experience in this way. Naomi, I think I saw you a couple days after, and I said to you, here I was like freaking out about, should I post? What shouldn't I post? And then I said to you, I was like, this is one of those things though that I was getting worried about the wrong thing. Should I post? Shouldn't I post? I needed to sit with that and what had happened and what was going on and process it. And then figure out how to take action. I mean, God bless posting, but it was not that time. It was time for me to say, well, okay, how do we do this? What can we do? What happens next? And then there's this whole thing now about, well, if you're talking about that, you're ignoring the issues in Jamaica. No, no. And these are the things that help to silence people. And we have to just say, you know what? I know who I am. I know what I believe. I know what I'm trying to do in this world, and stand by that. And that's where social media can get a little tricky, you know. But us recognizing what's happening in the rest of the world does not stop us from recognizing what's going on in our country either. And knowing that it is not without fault and that we should be very concerned about certain things, for sure, you know. But we are global citizens and we are allowed to feel for everybody.
Absolutely. And the reality is that the things that happen outside of Jamaica still impact us here. I mean, when I was growing up, bleaching was something that people would hide and do because it wasn't acceptable. And now I literally cry every time I see somebody totally destroy their skin. And I'm just like, how do we get to a point where we don't love ourselves enough and treat ourselves with the regard that we need to treat ourselves with? Wayne, I mean, for those, go ahead, Tami.
No, I was just saying, you know, it's also everything for me will always go back to the home. You know what I mean? Everything for me will always go back. And I'm so grateful that even with what we're doing on YouTube, we're providing some representation of what people don't say every day. When my son go on YouTube, or if him turn on Nickelodeon, he knows himself. You know what I mean? It's rare him see himself. And it's sad. It's sad it is taking so long for us to see ourselves. I always laugh, Catherine, and say, I wonder if I don't live for the day when we say a half Chinese girl become a Miss Jamaica or a Chinese girl because I am Jamaican. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I'm never represented in that way as well.
Mhm.
And it's
Yes.
hard
Yeah.
to not see that. But I
Yes.
must just sit and that's it's cool. You know what I mean? But I
Yeah.
know what it feels like to not see yourself somewhere represented. And when you do see it, you're like, oh wow, that's what it feels like to have that reflected back to you. And so we have to really continue
Yeah.
to, fill our space and our social space and our televisions with us. Because look
Yeah.
at this screenshot of
Yeah.
all of us. This is what the world looks like.
Yeah.
you know?
So Wayne, you're gonna sing Unity for us, right? You promised.
You want a piece
Yes,
of the lyrics there?
Yeah.
absolutely.
Give us a little peek.
All right.
As
Let me
if he
find it.
wasn't ready. He has
Yeah.
it right there.
No.
Okay, guys, if you insist, I will do
Whatever.
it.
If you insist.
You want me to hold it for you?
No, hold on.
Okay.
All right, you hold it for me.
Oh, okay, sure, happily.
No, but you have to scroll the lyrics though.
Okay, we'll do.
Okay.
I'm ready to scroll.
So this is a song that I wrote like a couple years ago, based on the whole how I was perceiving the whole racism and classism in the world. So it goes, when the forces combine and put it all together, that's how we'll find the map that's gonna lead us to the treasure. You and I, UNITY. Hey, when the forces combine and put it all together, I find out you're my sister and you find out I'm your brother. You and I, UNITY. Hey, one aim, one heart, one blood after all. Break down the barriers and tear down the walls. Done with racism and classism once and for all. United we stand, divided we fall. Instead of judge me for the color of my skin, judge me from the loving of my heart deep within, make we reason. You find out when me I think me share with you, you share with me, we form a link. Because when this forces combine and put it all together, that's how we'll find the map that's gonna lead us to the treasure. You and I, UNITY. Hey, when the forces combine and put it all together, I find out you're my sister and you find out I'm your brother. You and I, UNITY. Hey, no baby is born with hate in them heart. No human being is a racist from the start. Division and segregation, that is something that is taught. If it is acquired, then we know it can depart. Just put yourself in the shoes of someone else. Because of them descent, them get discriminated against. Police are stop and search them just because of them garments. Cannot get a job for make a penny or a cent. But if you check it deep, there is not much of a difference. It's the same blood we bleed, no matter the pigment. So much war causing so much blood to spill. God's children fighting over his will. When the forces combine and put it all together, that's how we'll find the map that's going to lead us to the treasure. You and I, UNITY. Hey.
That's appropriate to both gunshots at this time. So Wayne, you promised that you're going to record that song within the next couple of days.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Okay.
Yo, trust me, it's overwhelming on the gram. Everybody I say, yo, drop it, don't waste no time.
For sure. Don't
And I
hesitate.
think a nice acoustic interpretation going to be the best thing, so the
Yes,
lyrics
it
can
can,
shine.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Not too much book and bang around, you know?
If you need any background singers, Wayne, you and I.
No call any of no. Rushy.
Gotcha.
Me.
Rashi.
Wayne, as your friend, I'm telling you, don't even look in this direction. Don't even look in any of these directions.
Excuse me. Any of which directions?
No, Naomi, Rochelle told you before we came on the live that you can't sing, so let's not go there.
But you can bake, and it's all good.
Tami, you went back there, Tami? You went back there?
Yeah, let's not go back there. We're not going back there.
When I saw the song, I thought to myself, God really has a way of just working with the correct timing.
Yes.
And sometimes he plants a vision in our heads years before the appointed time. And at the appointed time, you didn't even have to think about it. You knew what the right song was. And we're actually grateful that you put it out there and fearlessly put it out, because this is going to be one of the anthems for this time.
Amen.
Because
Yeah.
you know that part when you say, when you realize that I'm your sister and you're my brother, it just, right, at the end of the day, that's what it all is. And
Yes.
you have
So
honed
simple.
over the years for a time like this.
Yep.
No
Yeah.
doubt.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
joke.
And it's funny that you said that, because I draw a parallel with our life. Because, I mean, we're here because of the Meet the Mitchell, so I'm going to bring it back there. Yeah, I'm going to go back
Do
there.
it, babe. Be that guy.
I'll be that
Well,
guy.
my round of questions were going to be around that too, guys. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
no,
Wayne.
but because we've been approached to do like reality
Well,
TV.
it's been a dream in the making for 8 years for me. It's something I wanted to do for 8 years. But as you said, Rashi, it was the appointed time.
Yeah, the seed was planted, but it never ready for start, bloom
Yeah.
and blossom at that,
Yeah.
that
And
particular
that's so
time.
important for anybody listening right now. You have no idea how everything comes together.
Yeah.
But trust that it just does. I mean, if you look back on your life, you'll see where it all came together. And my work and our work has been to understanding and following those intuitive pings that say, do this or now or try that. And that has been like the key for having the right timing on everything, because once you're aligning with that intuitive ping that's saying what's next, you can't go wrong. And so that's why we meditate,
Right.
that's why we pray, that's why we journal, that's why we get back to ourselves, so we can get those messages that go, hey, go and call this person, take that meeting, maybe you should buy that, take that course,
Yes.
whatever it is, go to this live tonight. And I think that if more people could align with that and listen, it would be so much clearer. I always draw the parallel with the other day. We didn't have any hot water in our pipes. No hot water is coming through. The pipe just dried. And we just can't understand. We're getting water through the cold water pipe, but not the hot water pipe. And I'm saying, Wayne, I don't understand this. Even if the water not hot, there should be water coming through this pipe. No. He makes one circle of the house like 3 days later when we get fed up, and he goes, Tami, the valve is off. And Atlas had turned it off, obviously. But I said to him, I said, look at that. I said, just because the water wasn't showing up in the tap didn't mean that the water wasn't there. It just wasn't turned on. And so it didn't cease to exist because somebody turned it off. We just had to turn it back on so it could find its way back. And I use that example back to, you just have to be tuned in, tapped in, turned on. It doesn't cease to exist just because you can't see it. It's just the avenue hasn't been
Well,
turned on.
I would say that you guys are clearly both turned on in your own individual spaces right now.
Yes, we are.
And speaking about that, I mean, right now with your platform on YouTube, Tami, which is now Meet the Mitchells, you have almost 50,000 subscribers. I've seen some of the episodes have had over 100,000 views. I mean, I know on Instagram you both have massive platforms, but now you've just exposed your, as we said, your heart and your home to just this wider audience, people who really didn't know you guys. I mean, I was saying to somebody the other day that I remember seeing Wayne post something and you were in there and someone was like, who is that white lady? And I'm like, excuse me.
First of all,
That's his wife.
second of all, she's not white.
And she's not white. Yeah. So there are lots of first and second and third. So there are a lot of things, right? So a lot of people clearly some people didn't make the connection, right? And so now people have gotten exposed to your personalities. It's very interesting to see Wayne showcasing this side of himself for the world as well, and quite hilarious actually. I think Wayne soon take over from Atlas's role. That's what I'm thinking. For a lot of people, right? And so what I would want to ask you about is that how do you manage that? You know, people are used to seeing Wayne as the entertainer, used to be a member of the Alliance, and all these things. And then there's Tami that we've seen in many different roles too, as an entertainer, a performer, a mother, a wife, a radio personality, a YouTuber, a podcaster, a dreamer.
A
How
business
do you
owner.
business owner as well,
Yeah, that.
right? How do you how do you manage how do you think you manage your brand identity? Especially in this online space right now.
Well, I think I'm kind of taking a page out of Tammy's book where her giving herself in such a vulnerable way. I won't tell a lie. When she just started to be this authentic online, I used to think to myself, what is Tammy doing? Like TMI, like she drop off the A and just like give them TMI. And then I thought I just saw her being more liberated and being more confident and growing wiser and growing stronger with every post. And then I thought to myself, wow, this is almost like a therapy for Tammy. Whatever she's going through, she just gives the world, and she and the world deal with it at the same time. And I don't see any negative comments on her page. I don't see anybody trying to take swipes at her because of her weakness that she has shown them. So then I thought to myself, wow, I wonder if a man can do this too, like just be this vulnerable and just show the world without holding back anything, just give the world everything and then see how it feels. And may I tell you, say, I'm telling you, it's been therapeutic. like me not tell no lie. When I go so, all right, first things first, when the gray hair them start take me up, it did that stress me out first time, and then when I think to myself, say, yo, John, people are the same all up. Nobody no business about me and my gray, because I was just so confidently and putting myself out there, grays and all in camera. Nobody no business with that, because they're just like, look how long we know Wayne Marshall. Wayne Marshall around the place 20 years now. It must get like a owlish. You know what I mean? I celebrate my 40th birthday. It's just me alone. I try hold on this 20-year-old Marshall. Everybody else done gone past that long time.
Marshall,
you know what I mean? So I'm just like, wow, like just being real and authentic is just the most perfect way to go. And you see, when you show people your weakness, when they hear it from the horse mouth, they don't have anything to fight you with. It disarm them, it dismantle them. All the haters, them who would have, because you know what make people really hate you? Is because them think you're perfect, You see, when them find out, oh, he's not claiming to be perfect, and he is not perfect, they don't have anything to fight you again. Them done with the war, they just kind of fall in line and just be like, yo, I'm gonna eat them MTM family, hashtag.
It's just one of those things that, when you tell your truth, then there's nothing anybody can say. There are gonna be people who hate on us. There are gonna be people still, even in our truth, who find a way to dislike it and don't. But that's cool. We're not here for you, and we've been so blessed to like build this tribe around us and this community around us that's here for it, and that's who we show up for. And Wayne said something to me earlier on, and he said to me, I didn't realize the freedom in being vulnerable. And as a man, to say that, it was the greatest gift. If this MTM thing only gave Wayne that gift that, hey, I am allowed as a man to put it out there. So many men comment on our videos. So many men reach out to us. I have never seen so much interaction with men who, I guess, through Wayne have been given the license to be who they are. So many people watching with their moms and with their kids and with their other halves, and it's just been nice to see that, people are having these conversations right along with us. And because we're sharing from that place, we are talking about things like how much sex you're not having when you've been married for so long, you know what I mean? And, what to watch on Netflix.
I'm sure people are wondering. I'm sure people are wondering from Wayne if Tammy boss you yet, based on that.
Hold on. Yo, people want to see my glow.
Go
Don't
ahead.
you see my glow? That's why the glow you should know.
Congratulations, Tommy.
Hello.
We were wondering if we're going to have to book a weekend for you. Thank you.
Oh my God. Whatever, man.
Right, you heard it
Netflix
first
and
here.
chill.
Netflix and boss.
We were prepared.
That is hilarious. One of the things I want to ask, as we saw Jackson pop in a while ago, how do you manage all of this with the kids, right? I mean, Tammy, I know you do you do the videos, you do the editing, you do the posting, you do everything, right? But then you also go to work physically, and then you come back, and then you're shooting content, and then you have the kids, and you have baby Oz, and you have Atlas, and you have Jackson, and you have Alex, and when
And
Gio
then we
is
have
here,
to boss
Gio
Wayne.
too, and then
And
you have time to work,
exactly.
right?
We tell you to
How
stop
do you
standing for
how,
you.
how do you tackle everything, Tammy? How are
Um,
you? How do you tackle everything?
you know what's the truth, Naomi? And this is what I love about getting older. You know what I mean? Like you figure stuff out about yourself. I used to feel really bad on weekends when I was so busy and I didn't get a chance to stop and rest and relax, and I'd be really feeling bad about that. And no kidding, about a month ago, I made the time to relax and rest. And I'm resting and relaxing. And, after about an hour, I'm like, how much do people want to relax? Like, how much rest do we really need? Because I immediately was just starting to be like, well, I'm rested, but now I want to get back doing what I'm doing. And it was a lesson for me. I was feeling bad about something I'd been socialized to believe I needed. And I was feeling guilty about not giving myself this time to do this. And I'm not saying I don't need time for all of that, because I do. But I realize I'm very much a busy bee. And I really like to have a few different things going on at once. It's part of what makes me feel happy, and I enjoy it. And I think that, for the last however many years, we've been pushing self-love, self-care, self-care. We really need to kind of break down what that means for us individually. And a part of that for me is doing this and doing what I love and having that purpose, still taking the time to sit back and rest and relax. But that self-love
Right.
and self-care movement had me feeling guilty and badly about not having enough time and I was feeling more bad about that because look, I did all this weekend and I didn't get any chance to rest. And then I realized one day, you did get to rest, but you do like to do all these other things, and it's a part of how you function in this world. And it's okay, and you don't have to feel guilty about it. I have Tessie calling me every second going, Tammy, I don't want you to burn out. And I'm like, Tess, I understand my load, and I understand when it's
Yeah.
too much and what needs to come off, what doesn't serve me anymore. And we all aren't built the same way. So for you, it might be too much. For me, I think I'm really finding that place of, this is good, but I already know. And I say to Wayne, I'm like, okay, I know what needs to come off of the plate next. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm well aware of that. But I do like to do what I do and all the things I like to do. And I enjoy it. So
As
that's how
Charmaine
I do it.
Basset
I
says
enjoy it.
here, she says, very real, what you see is what you get. And I think that's why people are so connected to MTM and to your family, because one, you speak about things that a lot of us think about, but we don't say out loud. And so it's almost like you give us validation to feel a particular way. And so that would lead to probably my next question, which is just about, what are some of the topics that you really choose? Because I know everything is with purpose, right? That you choose to bring to light through your platforms, both of you.
I just think for us, it's just that for me, it's just always been that relatability thing. And you can really fall into a little rut with the relatability because you find yourself always sharing your losses, yeah?
Yeah.
And you're scared to share your wins and when things are going good because you feel like people can only relate to you on like this level, but it's not true.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's been really nice to create a space where I can share my wins and my fails. Victories, losses, and everything in between. You know what I mean? And I want to use my platform. I continue to use my platform to just inspire people to take up all of their space, whatever that is. You know, if you want to go and can vegetables, do it. You know, I just kind of want people to feel the freedom to show up as they are, who they are, and it be enough. And that will always kind of be the underlying message of anything I do. You know, I don't show up 100% for everything every day, but when I am showing up is a bottom line. You know.
The good thing about what we do with the vlog is that a lot of it, you'll be surprised how much of it is just real life, and then me just thinking, wow, let me take out my little phone and just capture this because this is something worth sharing with the world.
Yeah.
So it's not, a lot of times it's not something that we sit down and plan to discuss this or talk about this, or it just happens naturally. I just think, wow. All right, whoa. Before you go any further, let's just catch this.
My favorite thing is save the juice. And then I take out my camera, I'm like, yo, let's talk about this.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't think I'd have signed up for it if we were going to be too robotic, and I don't think we'd be able to relate. And that's one of the things why I didn't sign up years ago, because how real is reality TV for cameraman stand up in the living room and we're saying, Atlas, turn so, Atlas, box him down now. Like, it just wouldn't work. It just wouldn't be authentic. Like, reality TV isn't really that real. So we are trying to capture something that really shares our day-to-day life. So we take it one day at a time. And that's why not every episode going to have all the drama, the joke, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to have that at times, because I know that, I never used to watch family vlogs because it just wasn't my cup of tea. And usually it's because it's based on the wife's perspective. She's talking about cooking, planting, mothering, baby, this, that. I know. That's why we're a good team, because I now show my perspective, singing, reason with my youth, them parenting from my perspective, gardening, cooking, weed walking.
Stopping the ice cream truck.
I think we took it from the approach where we're just documenting, you know what I mean? And it's just documenting what was around us. It's why we can deliver 4 videos a week. Because we don't have to create any content. It's right around us all the time.
There.
And also, you know, it's important for us to also put out the disclaimer that each video, okay, might be 17 to 25 minutes long. We live a 24-hour day. So even though it's enough for people to form an opinion about us and to feel connected to us, we still have so much else that is very complex and things that we're not ready to share about or willing to share about. And, you know, we have a whole life that happens in between those 17 or 25 minutes, you know, and that's where the real magic is happening, you know, when we're living, you know. So it's important that for anybody who takes part in any type of vlogs or anything to remember that, you know, it's a snapshot of a day, you know. But real other things happen. Like today I lost my mind 14 times with Atlas, you know, and it didn't make it to the vlog because I was too upset to film.
Can I tell you what happened today earlier? Me and Jackson and Atlas were playing and playing and ramping and ramping. I'm going to tickle and Atlas accidentally bumped his head on the floor. Teeth shaking. Me start
You're gonna see Atlas's tooth with a space in it now.
No, it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
He has a little gap. No, it used to be twisted. It's separated. Like one tooth has gone out. It's bad. That's what happens when you leave him on daddy duty. Yeah. What were you saying?
No, I'm just saying how
it just came to mind.
How painful it was. And I don't think that will make it probably will.
You filmed it?
No.
Oh.
Dude, I was calling the dentist. I was like, yo, what if we do? If we drive back home now? And he's like, no. How it stays? It's barely shaking, you know? So a whole heap of things are going on in our day. You know what I mean? I see a lot of people say, Lord, let's get the whole of the attention. Jackson needs some attention. Dude, like...
You're seeing 17 minutes.
Jackson can't tell you. Sometimes we're all up in them grill till him have to say, yo, Dad, you're being...
Take the camera.
You know, he called you a stalker. He said, Dad, you're such a stalker. And we said, I'm not a stalker. I'm just looking at what you're doing. Hear no? Typically, that's what a stalker does. That's just stuff you can't catch, you know?
That was
I think Jackson is not my favorite.
Like, yo,
I love him.
Trust me.
Well, you know what's funny? So I know Russia has some really great questions for you guys too, but I think to date, my favorite video is when Wayne did the voiceover of Atlas with the candy challenge. It
That
was
was his idea for sure.
so
I think
He knows
hilarious
how
and
to think
on
too.
point. It
I,
was
I
so good.
think I think that's when people figured out that Atlas is me and I am Atlas.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
You're the same
it
Yeah,
was.
person.
because to tell you the truth, real story, I didn't write down a script, rehearse
No.
anything. Tammy was just like, she showed me the video and she said, yo, voice over and
You just
press
did it on
record.
the spot.
And it was
Yeah.
just like, I almost knew everything that was running through my mind. And I think that was the moment that I figured out
We are the same person.
God has a sense of humor and
He
send me
does.
back for come deal with me the way I me to deal
That's
with my
right. Your
parents.
poor parents. Thank God they
Oh,
had
poor
to
me.
balance.
Hilarious.
So you know,
Rushy.
as we've been talking, so Tammy knows that like she's my mother crush because so I get all of my life lessons from her because we had baby run about the same time. So baby Oz is
Really?
my guy. Baby Oz.
Yeah.
Because
Kind of singing
They
that.
must try to work for the backup. Yeah.
But I try. But you know, one of the things too is both of you as parents, because I think Tammy, what you do is that you make it okay for us to just be normal mothers, not super moms, not boss moms, not mompreneurs, not like we're just like trying to just get out of the bed in the day and just get through the door, and it's okay. And some days you get it, everything is right, but yeah, you're gonna lose it on the kids sometimes, and it's okay, like it's all right. Because I think too, we got so caught up in this perfection and how we train children, how we speak to them, and so and sometimes they're just like, pick me, myself is sit down, and
Yep.
it's okay. And you
Yeah.
know, because it's a lot more normal seeing women in this kind of role and showcasing this, but we don't get to see the image of a Jamaican father that we can relate to in this space. So you have opened up an entirely new landscape for what a Jamaican father, and I'm not just saying father, a Jamaican father, because he's a special species.
Yeah.
And one of the things I wanted, as I was watching you just interact with the boys, interact with Tammy, what's that key message that you want to give to other Jamaican men about the role that they play in the home?
I think the biggest thing is to not be afraid to be a hands-on father, whether you're a father of daughters or a father of sons. You know, somebody commented on a video. She said she was like 60 years old. And she said it is so refreshing to see a father hug and kiss his children without feeling any connotation of like any kind of weird thing coming into the play, you know. And she said back in her day, it was non-existent. Fathers never showed that emotion, and it was they were just there to be strict and be that firm hand in the house. And I thought to myself, wow. And a lot of it is what Tammy has shown me too, because my father wasn't really the I love you, my son, or kiss up and hug up. He would do it from time to time, maybe once a year. But don't get me wrong, his language was different. I knew that he loved me every single day. You know what I mean? But he never showed it in certain ways.
Yeah.
I don't feel no way to hug up my boy, them kiss them on them mouth, them cheek, them forehead, anyway, you know? And another thing is to lead by example and not necessarily just opinion. So I want to be that father that I want them to be. I have to strive to be that in the house. You know what I mean? And show them by example that this is how your father is. This is how your father is with people. This is how your father is when he's dealing with issues in the house. This is how your father is when he's dealing with his wife. You know, I want to lead by example because I know that's the biggest teacher to them. You know what I mean? Most of these youths where you see perpetuate certain bad father methods because them grow come see that, or them never have a man as that example in them household or in them surroundings. So as I say, I like to lead by example. So what I want them to be, I try to be that in front of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And as I watch you, because you spoke out earlier about vulnerability, and it's not a thing that Jamaican men pride themselves on. I mean, them not want, to say things like we're real, but you're real, but bad man no cry and bad man no hug and bad man no do all manner of things that bad. I don't think bad men eat. So
And guess what? Bad man don't heat. Don't go there so with it. Bad man never heat. After when a heat cliff.
oh my goodness. So as an entertainer, so you have an entertainer coming through years. I can't believe it's 20 years. Marshall, Lintown. I mean,
Yeah.
and watching your growth over time. You are looking at the newcomers in the field, and I'm sure, like, as you see them, you smile and you see some of the ways that they're going on, and you're saying, you will grow, come see. What kind of message do you want to give them? Because you are portraying, that's not the norm. You're supposed to have one bag of picnic, one bag of woman, all over the place, a floss. I mean, this is a completely different visual. What kind of message do you want to give to that new generation of entertainers who are in the public space? What message do you want to send to them?
Well, again, I'm going to reiterate it. I want to lead by example. So when they look into my house, they see a marriage. They see me coming home to one yard. They see me servicing this household. You know what I mean? That is what I want them to see of me. And don't get me wrong, I have been where they were. So I don't expect them to rise to my level of maturity overnight. I didn't rise to this level of maturity overnight either. I had to get the partying and the flossing and the rum drinking and the weed smoking out of my system. But then came a point in my life where maturity kicked in and I said, okay, I smoke weed for the last 15 years. Now I'm going to cut out weed. I'm just going to done with it and put a new phase at life because weed kind of take too much of my time. And yes, it's a good little thing for meditate and creative outlook is there with it and whatever. But I just thought, you know what? Let me make the big man decision to stop this and start a new phase of life. Start reading. Start digging deeper into my spiritual self. Start getting closer to my family, my kids, my wife. Like, let's just do this. And that's why, again, this vlog is like the most perfect thing because it's just putting all of the elements in my life in more perspective and almost making it like a job too. You know what I mean? To show up to it has taught me what music didn't teach me, where being an independent musician, it has taught me consistency because I have told my people that I'm going to show up Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. And
which means you have to shoot.
Which means I have to be on a consistent schedule. And when Father God see you doing something consistently, there is reward for it. Whether it's at the beginning or at the end. But once you are and then when you're consistent with something, you find that you improve very quickly. Yeah. And you iron out the kinks very quickly. Yeah. So that is what we're doing with this whole thing. Like, it has brought me to a whole different dimension, different perspective on like work ethic, even though it's not, don't feel like work, because it's just, as I said, it's just life.
But it's still something we have to deliver.
But it's still something that we have to deliver, and it look like down the road we can probably even see some kinds of it too. So we give thanks, for the support and the fact that we are using this to inspire so many people. Yeah. Have you looked into the comment section? It's crazy.
No, it's crazy because it's like loving this grown.
But even in our comment section right here, I don't know if you see our comment.
We can't see it, but I'm
great. No, so if you look on your screen, you'll see private chat and you'll see live comments. Click on live comments. And you see people.
And we miss the people them all this time.
Yes, people commenting.
Jeez, your father. Where we gone? What we do?
No, Tami black out the whole screen.
Jeez, your father. Man, Father, deliver me. Oh, live comments. Hi, guys. But no, me
funny.
can't see, so me can't do
But
this.
no, we
Oh
can't see the live
Lord.
video.
Oh, well, we can see you guys quite.
Because
Oh,
you're on the phone, that's why.
Yeah.
can you see us now?
As
And
we
all of our fans are commenting like
come on, let me
crazy.
tell you, it is absolutely blowing up. And just for both of
You
you,
guys
because
are on mute, though. Tammy and Wayne, you guys are on mute.
There we are.
you got
Back
it.
in business.
Yeah. So one of
Yeah,
the things
so people have been commenting throughout the whole thing.
come on, about everything. And one of the things that you just mentioned is showing up. That at the end of the day, you promise to deliver a product. You have to show up and you have to be consistent, and you will get the reward. But the reward is reward after your ward. So you did have to like do some things before you get there. And I think people see online presence and they don't understand that you don't just roll out of bed. You have to, because Tammy, let me tell you, I am like, how do you capture these videos? Like, I can't even take a good photo, I'm just like, how do you like have sound bites and thing? And I'm like, people are some skill large business are going with this thing.
And doing it every day, I get better every day.
What's a
So
killer,
where I
you know?
started even a few weeks ago, now the time it takes me to edit a video is completely different.
Yeah.
And so it's that consistency. And I said to Wayne the other day, I was like, wow, when you show up for something every day, you really have such a quick turnaround in your improvement. Like,
Yes.
imagine if I started working out.
What you have done?
We saw you with Patrice, girl.
But I'm just saying, and that's the thing, you can't be afraid of. You know what I've always said my superpower is, guys? My ability to learn. And
Yeah.
so, 10 weeks ago, I didn't know how to edit a video or how to post something on YouTube. And here we are, I think we're in week 9. I'm not even sure. And I know how to do that. And so I think if everybody could realize that their superpower is the ability to learn.
Me too. 10 weeks ago, I didn't know how to map. I didn't know how to cook. I didn't know to use machete. And here I am now.
But I'm making a serious point. I'm saying that it's so we sometimes think we don't have what we need to be able to do something or go after something. And the truth is that what you have is your ability to learn. And when you can learn how to do anything. It's at your fingertips. I was talking to my brother today and I was like, Chin, you remember when we used to have the encyclopedia? And he was like, yeah, it was like 26 books. I was like, yeah, that was our Google. And look at what Google is now, like what we have available to us. So it used to be an encyclopedia, and now, and so it's available to you. It's just, what are you willing to learn and what are you ready to learn and go after,
Yeah. Somebody commented, I think it was Anya. Anya, I saw your comment earlier. So Anya said when she heard you name out the children, she gets into a child like a panic attack. And it's so funny because you have it's a lot of children in the children world, and we say, how do you like turn up for edge and be on point? You get up in the mornings, you're on point. You remember to sing us a song. You're like, yes,
every day.
Every day. And I'm just like, but one of the things, and I don't love this word, we're talking about it earlier, this whole thing about authenticity, because it's been so overplayed.
Fuzzy.
But how do you turn up every day as Tami? And we have a lot of women online who are mothers, some who are wanting to be mothers, but the whole motherhood thing, because of same Google, because if you follow Google, you're mad. Because Google tell you I'm gonna sit the children supposed to be doing, and you're like, well, I'm to my own, on my own not doing that. So how do you get through and just balance and be? You talked about self-care a while ago. I mean, what does all of that mean to you? That you just be, you're just easy.
Yeah, it means that you have to just kind of surrender the mom and the woman that you thought you were going to be. You have to kind of relinquish some of those ideas to nothingness. So some days it's easier than others, because some days I have like this crazy expectations that I put on myself, and other days it's much easier when I don't. And I find my days of survival or doing my best at I think it was, oh gosh, what's her name? Lisa Nichols. Is it Lisa Nichols? She
Yeah.
was
Yes,
Yeah,
too motivated.
yes.
yeah,
And she said something that changed my life forever. And it was that we need to stop trying to balance our lives and try to harmonize our lives. And if you know music, a harmony can take up to 7 parts, 8 parts, I don't know how many parts, and it can all work together in this beautiful way. So nothing, sometimes some is at this level, some is at that level, and I just figured out that, oh, I'm trying to harmonize my life, and that feels so much better, because
Yeah.
that means
yeah.
that some days the kids will get 80% and some days they'll get 10%. And some days it will be Wayne who gets the majority, and some days it will be me. Some days it will be my job. The point is that I'm
Yeah.
not trying to give 100% to everything. I'm just trying to harmonize everything so that I can feel good about it at the end of the day. But you have to surrender. You have to surrender that woman that you thought should have it all together. The mother you thought you were going to be, the wife you thought you were going to be, the friend you thought you were going to be. Like, start at ground zero, and then just show up and see how that looks.
Yeah. I remember watching in the early days when you used to do the Instagram stories and stuff, and there was Atlas and Jackson, and then Baby Oz was on the way. And I was like, Tammy always has like toys strewn around. Isn't she like ordering those toys? I'm like, when I become a mom, the
Ta-da!
toys are going to be in the toy corner. Okay.
Yo,
And
yeah.
I mean, as my home has turned into a daycare center, God, you're such a fair, ironic God. You're like,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's what it is too, that in opening up, you have given us all permission to harmonize and to be.
yeah,
And you know that there's some days that it's the harmony is just like it's just an equal kind of harmony. Some days there's a
yeah,
little bass, some days there's
yeah,
it's a little high pitched, especially
yeah.
when you lose it. But it's the power of the surrender. And when you put yourself out and surrender to even our own judgment, I always wonder, like, before you press post, what goes through your head?
No, not nothing. No, I don't feel any. No, I'm just like, come on, post Wi-Fi, make this post. In the very beginning, there's always a little bit of like butterflies. I wouldn't say it's anxiety. Just a little excitement because we're delivering again another piece of our story. But
Right.
it's been so well received that we're not fearful of it being. I mean, I still sometimes scroll through the comments and I'm like waiting on that one troll, you know, a little bit, But
Yeah.
there's always going to be that. But it never comes in comparison to the thousands and hundreds or whatever, how many people it is that show up to take value from it, and those are the people who make it really easy for us to show up and make it really easy for me to hit
Yeah.
post. And back to even like that surrendering thing real quick. I'm so, I could never do this without somebody like Momo, who literally helps me to raise my children. Also Wayne,
Yeah.
who stand in those gaps for me where I'm missing and not able to be
Yeah.
there. And if it wasn't for Momo, who literally she's been with us for 7 years, so she's been here since before Jackson born. I could never do what I do. The trust and love between us and even the kids is just, she has given me what only my mother probably would have been able to give me if she was in Jamaica. You know what I mean? And it's the ability to still be myself, with the knowledge that somebody is at home loving and caring for my children apart from one of us, and showing up in that way. And I have to give credit where credit is due, because I don't listen, I rate North American moms the most, okay? Like, those are my heroes, okay? The women who are doing it all. I just want to tell them, like my friends who live there, my brother who lives there, my family and friends, I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they keep it all together and keep it going. I don't claim to do that at all.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to me. And they were a real source of inspiration to me anytime I was doing something. And I said, well, you know, if the mothers who have no help are doing what they do all day and then find that time after their kids go to bed to work on what they have to work on, I can do it too.
Yeah.
You know?
And on behalf of all of the mothers, we just want to thank you, Tami, for helping us to be a lot more forgiving of ourselves. As you mentioned, we are so blessed in Jamaica that we have all been raised by this greater extended family, and some women who have sacrificed their own families to help to raise our own. I mean, Auntie Allison,
Yeah.
I mean, I just care about her health. I don't really care about my health because Allison needs to be healthy and strong.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
nothing like having somebody love your child in a way that is like it just warms your heart. But
It literally brings tears to your eyes.
when you think, because like even now I'm like,
Yeah.
and thank you for me too, because as a new mother, you have been a source of guidance and inspiration for me. I am all over the place like you, and you know, when I see how forgiving you are of yourself, it is one of the biggest lessons, and how you're able to just laugh at it all. I mean, we have to thank you. God bless you, child. God bless
Thank
you.
you for that, Rush. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. You know, we don't know what the heck we're doing. We're just showing up. That's the truth. You know, when Momo used
Well,
to
you're
go
doing
off on
something
our
right, guys.
weekends
You're
and
doing
it was
something right.
when Momo used to go off on our weekends and it was just us. I remember that those were the times when Wayne and I would be like, this is the weekend we're getting divorced. Like, this is it.
Teen
Because it's
eyes.
a whole different level of stress when everything is on you. And that's why I said big up to the American moms, the European moms who do it without any help, because I don't know how y'all doing it. Because everybody is growing up and we don't feel that stress anymore when Momo leaves. We feel a lot more in tune with each other and the kids, and it gets easier, thank God, before it gets harder again.
I see Kathy nodding. What you thinking, Kathy? I'm going to hand over to you now. I see you nodding over there. Your lipstick look good.
No. So for those of you who have not been following Meet the Mitchells, I am not going to ask them how they met because I have an entire episode on how they met. And so you need to go and watch it, right?
That seems to be on debate, though, right?
Sorry?
What you
I said,
Mike?
even though that seems to be under a little bit of debate based on the video.
Right.
Yeah, there's two of them are not quite sure. Yeah, which one was looking, which one, and I was like, so we won't let them get into that argument tonight. You can go and watch the video and determine for yourself whose recollection is better. But the other day I thought it was so awesome when, of course, Wayne talked about the oil in his back, and Tami totally steered the conversation in a different direction. And she's like, "Listen, guys, you know, we have seasons." You know, all marriages have seasons. And so we go through this season or that season or the other season. But seriously speaking, I mean, you have the children to prove it, right?
Right. Those are our seasons. We have 3 seasons.
No, let me tell you. She have a thing about her. Her chest is very high. She only bred when we go to very five-star hotel and all these places. That's the only time she bred.
Well, I'll tell you why we have a season. Because all of the boys are Leos. So they're born at the end of July and the beginning of August. So we do have a season.
And all of them conceive at top hotels. Very high.
You and my sister have the same season, it would seem.
I remember dying one time when Wayne was like, yo, you know, say over his chest high.
But what are some of the other things that you guys do to keep the spice and the excitement in your marriage?
You know what? It is funny you ask that, because the truth is, what Tami does, and what I really appreciate most about Tami, is that she can find the romance in the very simple things, the mundane day-to-day things. I can bring her favorite flavor ice cream, and she's just like, oh my God, and just jump on me.
No.
And then we can bring a can and a soup. You know, this is beer food. It's beer food. No, but she allows me to like we find moments out of the smart, because when you have well, if I pick me and run around, you can't wait until you have a holiday weekend to feel that little energy between you. And I want people to see how we do a thing and take a page out of a book. I love her for that. I love her for that. She allows me to just be myself, and then sometimes surprised to she said, she received, what did you do today?
The shirts.
Oh, I surprised her. I surprised her with these shirts. And she was just like,
you go get it.
Yo.
Sounds like coming up to me.
You know what the thing is? It's a slow build, right? So it's all these little things that come together to make up the. So, you know, we talked about seasons, and in the beginning it was just, you know, we were just so happy to see each other, and it was just, you know. But now it's like the little bits and pieces that come together that just, you know, I wouldn't say it's spice anymore. Right now we're at the stage where it's like it's the finesse. It's the finishing off. Like there's no we've set such a foundation, and now we're just enjoying each other in a different way, and it doesn't mean you know, it doesn't need all of the bells and the whistles that we had in the beginning, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We're just trying to not wake up children, you know.
she call it finesse, I call it finesse.
Yes.
Or finesse.
But Wayne still does a really great job of like making me, you know, I've had 3 kids, you know, and I was even in the mirror today and I looked at my stomach. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Because, you know, you just, you know, you're like, oh, look how you've changed. But this man has loved me through every season and through every change. And he's never faulted on that. Even if, I mean, I'm sure somewhere in the mind, I mean, he sees the changes, things have changed. But there's just something about his encouragement. Plead the fifth. But there's something he's always made me feel very special and very loved. And, you know, as the truth of it is, we all look really good in the dark. So turn them lights off if you feel funny.
No, but you know what another thing is with me and Tami, like over the last even 5 years, it has shown evolution itself, that every new Tami that she exposed me to is like I fall in love with a new person. She has no, I'm serious. No, I'm serious.
It's real nice.
Her startup business. Listen, she not go no college, she not go no business school. I see her start a business from the ground up. Full entrepreneur mode, full accountant mode, you know. Zeal, everything in, and I'm like, wow. She transitioned, she gone to motivational speaker, she gone to editor, she gone to psychiatry, psychologist. And then with every new phase and every new evolution of her, I just feel like, wow, like this is just too much. This is just too much. It's just too much, and it's just like in love again and my weak again, and so and then I use to spice up myself.
It's true.
And then she's a woman where she would just come home tomorrow with purple hair.
True. That's true. We know that.
I have many wives. many wives.
I'm afraid to get a new one.
It's well spicy over here, you know.
So that means we're gonna get a girl soon?
I wouldn't bank on a girl. I don't think he can make any girls, but
hold on. In a perfect world, it would be a girl, but more than likely, it's gonna be a Earl.
Yo, I can't stand you. I'm done.
Yes.
I don't know. No. She looked like she won't go against still, you know.
You always say like it's me one.
So it's just for me find the right hotel now.
Oh wow.
Not yet, not yet.
Well,
I'll,
over what
I'll
Well,
stop
girl,
there.
you have two
marriage,
months.
yeah.
It's almost your season.
Yeah, right. No, we'll
Just
catch you
hold
next
on, just hold
one.
on.
We'll catch you next
How long
one.
have to wait for catchy season?
It's our anniversary time. That's the
Oh
problem.
shucks. I go warm up.
You
I
know,
practice. I go and warm up.
it's
It a come, it a come.
a thing.
It's so not coming. I'm done with it. This conversation is actually gonna remain on YouTube.
So we talk about your relationships now with your siblings. So I mean, both of you have family that's in the UK. Tammy has Tessie here. Wayne has Alex here as well. But a lot of your family is in the UK, both of you.
Mhm.
How do you stay in touch with them? How do you stay connected to them?
Well, I talk to my brothers and sisters and parents every day, even if it's just through WhatsApp. And just today, I was talking to my brother, and in my family, there are five of us, and Tessie and I are the babies. So my older siblings are like 13 years older, 11 years older, 7 years older. So but we don't feel any of that age gap. But we talk to each other every single day. And that's just how we've been. We just made a point to do that, because we are a big family and it's easy to lose touch, and even if it's something stupid that we write in the chat. The channel has been great for my nephews, who live away and who are getting to somehow know
Yeah.
their cousins. It's really cool. So yeah, super close. We have such a tight knit family, and I think that's part of why we're raising the kids how we're raising them, and part of why we don't have any opposition to a large family, because we know how it can be. So they don't know it yet, but they don't realize that they're each other's best friends,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, it's a little bit easier because I just have Tariq, one brother,
Yeah.
away. So, WhatsApp keep us connected, one video call or a Zoom link, or, you know what I mean? It's a
Yeah.
small world now. It's a very small world. We don't have any excuses for not keeping in touch nowadays, So you definitely have to reach out and stay connected to the ones you love.
And it's interesting to even watch your conversations with Alex and how they're changing now that he's like a teenager as well. You know what I mean? Like seeing their connection, because in many ways Wayne has been raising his brother in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
and that has its own dynamic. And it's interesting to see Alex growing up now and having different conversations and trying on new things, and it's
One of the most recurring comments is, I'm a new sub.
Who is
Who is
Alex?
Alex? So, is he their son?
Yeah.
He look like Jackson, but in big, like, Tami and Wayne something so big. I'm just like, yo, long story. Today I literally was like, yo, long story. I'm gonna get into that in an episode to come.
That's hilarious. It's too funny. So Tammy, you've had your older siblings that were there to support you, and Auntie Chris and everybody. You have a great support system. How was it for you actually being able to be that support for Tessie?
Amazing. Just it's a crazy thing when you watch your little sister like have this like experience now of like being a mom, and it's so fulfilling to be able to show up for her. And even though with all of my kids, and Tessie wasn't a mom when I had all of my children, she was such awesome support to me, you know what I mean? And she showed up for me in so many ways, and it just feels so nice to be able to show up for her. Even though with this whole COVID thing, it really put a lot of space between us at a time when you thought that you would be so like
I'm gone, yeah.
but we talk every single day. I'm always checking on how little mama slept, and if this, and we're seeing about this and that, and it feels really good to show up for her in that space. But she doesn't need any she's such a natural,
Yes.
and it's awesome to see Tessie. I don't think I'll ever not see Tessie as like a baby, and sometimes I see Di and I'm like, is that a little doll? Like, are you really a mom?
Yeah.
But she really is, and it's been nice to show up in this space for her.
Yes, that's awesome. So we have a game that we play where we just spit things at you and you just answer us. You don't get a chance to
Okay.
think about it. Okay.
Oh dear.
All right. Who is most likely to? So today we're going to do who is most likely to. Which we switch it up sometime for
Okay,
that.
I will just point.
Just point. Yeah. It's okay.
Money.
Who is most likely to read a book?
Me?
Sorry, fine.
Hello?
I listen to the book. Does an audio book count?
Read a book. Read.
Listening to a book is reading a book. One
No,
time.
no.
Oh, the look on Wayne's face, priceless.
No, she and her audiobook them good enough, but I love her read hard copy.
All right. Who is most likely to watch a Netflix marathon?
Yeah, me. No, but say
No,
you know
you
say
said the answer.
no, that's not true.
Next.
That's not true. You know, from what that's not true at all. You know.
Brand designs does not count.
We watched Netflix and chill episode in a Tami we did. Netflix and question sign rather.
She will marathon her food show them. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's probably half and half.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, who is most likely to plan a date night?
Yeah, facts.
Straight facts.
But I'm with it. I'm with it.
Buy the best gift.
Sorry?
Buy the best gift.
Who is most likely to buy the best gift?
100.
Listen, I am the gift. I am the gift that keep on giving.
Yeah, oh boy.
I gave so much, I don't have nothing more to give.
Okay, who is most likely to discipline the children?
Come, right now.
She's a drill sergeant, and me, I try calm her down. I always make a joke and say, yo, I'm going to have a spy cam. We catch her.
Do it.
I'm going to do it.
No,
I'm not going to like it.
I am a disciplinarian. Like, there are certain things that we're just not gonna, bend on. Like, if
She'll be like, yo, I'm going to call the police. Like, she's hardcore. She's hardcore. All right, I'm just going to catch her. Don't worry.
just do it.
So who is most likely to actually go to the supermarket?
Is that a question?
Big facts. But guess what?
Who's most likely to go to the wholesale?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I say. When you are driving around Maraska Road the other day, when you were shopping.
Yeah, there you go.
Hello.
Buying on the road.
May I tell you, say, from this COVID thing coming, it's a terrible thing and it has locked down the world and shut down my industry, but there are so many little positives that we can take out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So right now, my motto is like, I'm going to blossom where I'm planting. Right now, I'm planting in some terrible ground. The ground is fertile, but me, I got blossom, me, I got grow, and the fruit I got pick nice and sweet.
Oh, baby.
Yes.
I like that.
Hello.
Reading.
Okay. Who is more likely to spend more money?
On food, on the supermarkets. Who's most likely to spend more money on things?
She spend and not care. She spend and not care.
Me don't care? Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Who is more likely to plan vacations?
Same thing as date that.
We don't
She
really,
again.
yeah, but we don't really do that.
No, you know why vacations don't really feel, because you see a lot of my work takes me to like resorts for the weekend, so it's kind of like a work vacation slash that whole
we
like
need to plan a vacation.
Yeah.
I'll plan it. So me.
Yeah. I think Tammy's more likely, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who is more competitive?
Both of us. We're very competitive. We don't play Kaluki together. We have come very close to divorce.
I love Kaluki.
Hold on. I am good enough.
No.
But she don't want me to take up my card if she call it.
Wait,
how is that fair?
How can you play?
She's putting the marriage on the line because I want a 4 and she want the 4 and she can't. And she make it seem like me a spite her. I'm not spiting.
How can you go?
I just need the 4.
Hallelujah. Carlita's way. Cauliflower. That's nuts.
Tiny make
You
people change their
call.
mind about the show, you know?
Cauliflower.
Why? Cannot
Okay,
be.
good.
I would not play with him.
We have
That you're
Naomi, I know you
I
wouldn't
would
stand
get
for none of that.
so upset.
Naomi's like just Judy. I know Naomi. You
Yeah.
can't take
First of
my
all, I
style
want to
of
say
Kaluki.
after this, I'm going to message them and say, guys, I'm ready for Kaluki. But after hearing that, call a Lou.
No,
Oh,
we haven't played together since 2011, and there's a reason.
I'm a serious player. I cannot manage those things.
Same. And the worst one was Carlita's way.
You never say Carl. You say Carl.
when you're a team.
Oh my God. I'm like just thinking about it.
Okay,
Yeah,
which
me
one
too.
of you is more likely to just burst out in song?
Me all day, every day. No deliberation about that.
And the song is, it could be anything. It could be one
It
of his
could
songs,
be
right?
anything.
Or it could be, yeah. You see, yeah,
It could be anything.
yeah.
My friend.
My favorite though is when he breaks out into nursery rhymes and he doesn't realize it, but because it's just in his brain from hearing it.
Baby bum man.
Oh gosh.
I'll be driving randomly. The wheels on the bus. Daddy
Tommy,
daycare.
we're gonna ask
Life.
you to do something. Can you guys sing something for us together?
The wheels on the bus go round.
Round and
Perfect.
round.
No,
No, what we gotta make us sing something.
he's
Hold
always
on.
game to sing.
Since them I pull my arm. What can we sing?
I don't know.
Other Maroon 5 song they go again?
Beauty queen of only 80. She. Okay, hold on, stop. Wait, let's give her a little backstory. Shh, shh.
She was
Hey,
always
I'm telling the story.
It's not good with the backstory.
Okay, fine. Anyway, Wayne and I have this idea that one day we're gonna go to a Maroon 5 concert. Their backup singers are gonna fall ill. They're gonna ask if anybody knows how to. They know these lyrics that could fill in for the backup singers, and we're gonna be like,
You're here.
so we'll have a
I'm
backup
sure Tessy
singer.
can make that happen.
Are you making people know that we are crazy?
So we do this
Tessy can
dance,
sabotage and get it close enough.
but we don't know how to do it together. We normally do a 3-part.
Exactly. That's gonna be
Anyway,
tricky.
but we're already Maroon 5. If you're watching this and your backup singers go ill,
Well,
we're ready.
I think this needs to be the audition tape, guys.
Yeah.
Like,
All right,
ready.
Take it away.
Where are we gonna start from? I don't mind spending every day. Come with the movement. Out on your corner in the pouring rain. Look for the girl with the broken smile. Ask her if she wants to stay a while, and she will be loved. Blend, blend, blend. She will be loved. We're so ready. We're so ready.
I love it. You guys are totally ready.
And she's very strict, you know. She's always like blend.
But you always over
The Kathy Levy always comes out of you. Why?
Always.
Oh!
Too
It's
strict.
true. Wayne is minding his own business, singing his song and piano, and she's like, "What are you doing? You're doing it wrong." And I'm like,
Always room for improvement, guys.
Oh,
Always room for improvement.
"You're reaching a man thing." Like,
She's like the ultimate stage man, but she acts like she's not that stage.
Yeah.
True.
Completely.
Yeah. Like when Tessie used to perform and she'd sing, I had to like sing along or else I'd feel like it just wouldn't happen. No problem.
It's a
Smile, honey.
so guys, thank you so much for
Aw.
being with us. It was awesome, and I mean, your fans definitely showed up because they are play by play, walking through episodes, talking about
Yes.
different
Aw.
loud enough ways.
I see a lot
Segment.
about the ringworm in the comments. I see a lot of people talking about that.
Loud enough way about his construction vest in the garden.
It's all right. Don't worry. May I get my gloves? May I get my water boot? As I say, may I have my binocular, my goggles? everything.
Daddy called me today. He's like, the GPS man gone. Him lock off your light. What happened? I mean,
I saw somebody commenting earlier about your dad, Tina Tammy. I think Nikisha had commented about him. So
That's
people love your
awesome.
dad too.
And you know what? It's really fun. It's going to be fun to see how this whole thing evolves. And as new members of the family come in and you see more of Tessie as things kind of, and you get to know Tessie because people have no idea how hilarious Tessie is.
Yeah.
Our
And we'll
parents
probably get to see baby Zaya.
a little more. And
Aww.
even when our
She too
family
sweet.
visits and stuff. And I want to say thank you to you ladies as well for, I'm always grateful to you guys because you've always included me and allowed me to hold space with you. And thank you for that. And thank you for creating this space. You guys just pivoted and you figured out the next best way to do what you do. And it's always an inspiration for me to see that. And it's always like, okay, you're on my list of women. If they can do it, so can I. And so thank you for that. And
We love you.
and a big thank you to all the people who showed up today, even for this live, and who are part of the MTM family. And, it's just surpassed anything we could have thought possible. And so, I'm being reminded every day to go ahead and dream your wildest dreams, because even that, there is more on top of it, on top of it. So don't be afraid to set yourself up for, the worst case. Set yourself up for the best case, because it could actually happen. And we're so grateful to every single person who comes to our channel every other day to see what's happening and feel a part of it. So I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Wayne, you weren't
so
enough.
much.
Wayne, you weren't enough. Everybody still wants to know why Atlas was here.
Atlas
But
Fellas,
guys,
you.
it's so beautiful to see the comments that people are giving, because you guys are like you remember the Cosbys, like the Huxtable.
Yeah.
You guys are like our
For the
Huxtable.
situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Situation.
I just
I will
literally
not be that guy. Not that guy.
and the comments are just so good. And I think from all of our viewers and for us, we just want to pray God's richest blessings over you guys. We just hope that prosperity will be your realness, that your barns will always be overflowing, and that you will always have this voice that you can share to make our lives better. And we pray for every member of your family and just covering over you and your household, and know that we all have you in our heart and we love what you are doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we receive that 100%. Thank you so much.
Amen.
We love you guys.
Love you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Guys,
so
we're
much.
not finished yet. We're gonna wrap up in a minute. Thank you so much.
I hate
You know,
this
I've
guy.
been watching Tammy. I feel like Tammy want to kiss Wayne long time. I feel like she has to kiss before we end the show.
I should come off and she all over me. Just you wait.
Oh my God, I'm done. I
Keep
can't manage.
that glow, Cam. Keep that glow. Okay. We
Yeah,
love
that's
that glow.
It's sweat. It's not a glow. It's sweat.
Girl, I'm gonna make
guys.
you sweat.
Oh my God, Gabby.
Can't sweat no more.
Thank
Okay,
you,
bye guys. Love you.
Bye. Plenty love, guys. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I
was so
love them.
awesome.
I love them.
That hurt me. Oh my goodness.
Guys, thank you so much to the MTM tribe. We see you in the comments. Thank you for joining us. I think a lot of you may be joining our live for the first time. We do this every Wednesday at 8 o'clock, and every week we have an exciting guest, or we have exciting guests.
Yes.
So if you want to stay in the know, make sure that when you leave this live today that you subscribe to our channel so that you can keep up to date with who we have on the show every week. Every Wednesday, 8 o'clock is Emerge, Detour, Essentials. But this was so great. I mean, we really love what Tami and Wayne are doing with their family, you know, opening their hearts and opening their homes to all of us to experience this. And just to showcase a different type of Jamaican family life that we don't get to see on a regular basis, right?
Or any family life for that matter.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think especially during this time of everything that's happening in the world, it's really great to see that love is real. Family matters. Um, doesn't matter your complexion, whether you're a blended family, whether you're a mixed race family, whether you're a Jamaican family, American family, whatever you are, it all comes back to love and respect. And so we were really happy to have them on the show today to just bring back a little bit of joy, especially during this trying time that a lot of us are experiencing right now. So we are so happy that we're able to get them to come on the show today.
And there were so many gems, so many takeaways. I mean, the Tami talking about owning the space that you have control over. You have control over your house, start there. So for those of us that, get overwhelmed at the thought of going out to protest, we need to remember that it starts with us. It starts with us as individuals, and it starts with us cultivating that home that our kids and our families see who we want to be. Wayne talked about leading by example. And that is, I think, one of the greatest takeaways that we could have from today is that we have to be the people that we want others to see. We have to influence our kids by doing and not just by saying. When she talked about harmonizing instead of balancing, I thought that was excellent.
Love that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And do not cease to exist because you can't see. Don't cease to exist. It doesn't cease to exist because you can't see.
Yeah.
Right. That was the example of the water, right?
Yeah.
That was so beautiful for me. Wow.
Break down what self-care means to us, because for each of us is different. For some of us, we like to be busy, and for some of us, we need to take the time to just pause. So for each of us, it's different. That's okay.
I think one of the things that was great too was when Wayne was speaking about how liberated he felt just being able to show up as himself, right?
Yeah.
And what a release that has been for him, just to be able to come online and be himself without even really thinking about it.
Commitment and consistency is also a really big takeaway. Be committed and be consistent, and we'll see how much we improve in a shorter space of time the more consistent we become.
Yeah.
And I loved when she said, our superpower, each of us have a superpower, and all of us have the same superpower, which is the ability to learn.
Yeah. I thought that was a great takeaway as well.
Yeah.
Great takeaway. I saw someone asking, how do we follow you guys on YouTube? It's Ready to Emerge. Yeah, we're Ready to Emerge Cup. Catherine, where's that? That should be on the screen when I said that. Let me do this again. And you can follow us on YouTube at Ready to Emerge. Where's the cup? Okay, thank you, Rochelle. I appreciate that. We're missing half of it in the screen. Yeah, Ready to Emerge.
You don't have to go with left and right. Like,
it's so hard to see the screen.
You know that, like, I'm a little dunce when it comes to like spatial reference.
Yeah.
But guys, every week, by the time you get to Wednesday sometimes, and just in these times that it's because I had a long day today, and I was kind of like, I would really go to my bed early today, but every week that we do this, it means so much to me personally, and I hope that you guys get the benefit of what we're trying to do. And as we think of even what is going on in our world at this time, a big part of the vision of Ready to Emerge was we wanted to showcase the best that we have, not only here in Jamaica, but across the region. We want we want you to see yourself, our own people, what we are doing, because a part of our power and claiming our power is seeing ourselves and knowing that we can do that too. So every one of us, every time that we take that step out and we are bold and fearless and we go after our dreams, we're giving somebody else permission to do the same. So as you're even thinking about what you can do, it starts with your very own life. So to not just write down the dream, them get up with the book and start walk and do the thing. The thing that's just been on your mind to do, you know the thing that's niggling at you. And for some of you, now is the right time. Go for it. Because every single time you step out, somebody else looks and says, I can do that too. And we cause a ripple effect. And that is how we are going to be powerful as Black people. That is how we're going to step forward. But then it becomes us powerful as people across the world. So one of the things that we talked about for this week is that with our book, this week, our book is that we're writing our very own lives. This is a week of us educating ourselves, of us thinking of ways that we can help right now, things through our space that we can do right now. Kathy talked about it earlier. Don't just jump on the bandwagon. Read, research, fact check, ask questions. No, everything is. Tammy talked earlier about the encyclopedia. Those of you who know encyclopedia, you remember when you did have them book them? No, your fingertips. The information is there. Read and investigate things like petitions that you can sign. Be a part of this movement. Ask yourself, what role will I play in ending racism and inequality? And remember that sometimes we look at this big picture and you say, look at me, oh, look at me, I got to. Remember, every life you touch with the difference that you make causes a ripple effect because it's a multiplier.
Absolutely.
Ask yourself, how will I use my influence and my own platforms to educate others? What conversations am I prepared to have? So I'm talking about, I'm coming out of COVID now and think, what am I going to be talking about? Because remember, we have to be educating ourselves for a different level of conversation. We have to change the narrative and ask yourself, what is going to be my action? What can I do in my neck of wood? Don't look at nobody else. What can I do? Because if everybody is doing a little something, every little something turns into something bigger. The road, a lot of fight has been fought. I heard somebody say that today, and I was like, wow, a lot of fight has been fought for where we are at now. But we as 3 Jamaican women can be on the screen talking to you. There was a time we couldn't do that. There was a time as Black people, we couldn't do that. What are we going to do? Just sit back? No. Time. It's time, guys. It is time. So it's this week, we say to you, write your own narrative. Wake up. It's time to get woke, guys.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, guys, I mean, it was an amazing show today, I think. We're really happy to have you all here. We're happy to the newcomers. We're happy to have our core emergers that join us every single week. We look forward to seeing you in the comments all the time. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, again, I'm Naomi. That's Catherine, Rochelle. We are the Emerge Trio. And we're here every Wednesday, right here at Ready to Emerge on YouTube. Click and subscribe, comment, like, share. I'm sure a lot of people will be watching the replay. It was hilarious. I think I'll watch it again myself. Lots of gems. And, you know, we really look forward to having you join us again next week. You can follow us on Instagram as well at Ready to Emerge. So if you have more comments or questions or anything, you can hit us in the DM or even in the comments when we watch the replay as well.
And I would encourage you to share on our Facebook page the things that you have chosen to do. All the things that Rochelle talked about a while ago, writing your own story. Share with us the things that you've decided to do on our Facebook page. We'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys, thank you. It's 10 o'clock. We've gone way over our time. But we loved it and we love having you join us. So thank you so much. And we'll see you next week, Wednesday, 8 o'clock.
Bye.
Bye.